building up towards mid-game, and then even if we go towards late. Because for these two teams, we've known them in the past. I sent in an LPL Gyro to the email address. They still haven't put it up. I guess I wasn't specific enough. But welcome to the last game of week number 4. EDG and RNG, it wasn't our match of the week, but in a way, it always is.
And it's shaping up even gameplay-wise, and it's really turning out like a match of the week.
This feels good because getting to a game 3 where both teams have showcased the best in their individual games means we get that epitome in our third and final game. Remember, EDG and RNG, the rivalry's been going on 32 games to 29. RNG with the lesser, and 12 series to 10 against RNG.
An important thing is this game, the Colonel favors EDG.
Oh, that's the important thing. Oh, the Colonel, he just gives the low bar towards EDG all game long. And I mean, we were talking about it a little bit in draft where you said these lanes have to go well for RNG. The Colonel says it's going to be risky here, even with the fleet footwork Cassidy.
All runes being as we would expect. On the side of EDG, you can kind of do what you've done in previous games. You have some gank options pretty much in every lane since, again, the Nautilus will be farming. He has to walk up towards the wave. Cassidy, melee champion, has to walk up to hit the wave. And we've already seen Junja loves to focus his top side. So these first few levels, Junja has so many choices with where he could go. And the name of the game for EDG is even if nothing happens, you're still scaling with the Azir.
Very, very true. Who's taken lethal tempo once again. Scout has been favoring this all series long. However, looking at the junglers, Xiaolongbao heading towards the top side now, while Junjia is still clearing towards the Krugs. Note that Xiaolongbao tried to split the map last time around, tried to look for Hope and Mako in the early game.
Important thing to note as we're looking at the spot lane is that Betty and Ming's wave will push in, which will give Junja an opportunity to maybe set up a gank on the bot lane.
Because that'll be his priority coming down after the blue buff. And Hope and Mako have just backed away and let it happen. Level 2 hit here from Ming and Betty. Betty just trying to poke his head to get some farming of the souls. But a ward put in river here, so control towards the bottom side for now is, yep, that level 2 means that trade comes through. And Betty and Ming, the benefactors.
We already see Junja heading towards the bot lane like we talked about with that pushing wave. Level
3 as well on the Rex side, right behind them. Look how far they're pushed out. Betty and Ming have an inkling. The Spidey sense, it tingles. But does it tingle enough?
Whoa.
Oh, no. Ming, he's walked too far out. He's been spotted. Over to the Nautilus to flash over the wall. That's a hard flash to make, and he makes it.
Good flash from Ming, but once again, very strange decision from RNG. Xiaolongbao pats towards the top side. They just freely push in this wave, looking for these aggressive trades in the 2v2. Does set up a very easy gank coming out from Junja, but name of the game for both of these drafts is scale.
And if you have a flashless Nautilus, the ability to influence that lane and stop them from getting their key items is still very important here. So
the thing about both of these drafts, talking about that Nautilus flash, is you have so much defensive options sustained in that bot lane from Betty and Ming. And then, of course, you have a Braum on the opposite side. So getting kills on either duo is really hard. You have a beefy tank matchup on the top side. And then you have a champion like Cassidy in the mid lane that's just going to sit under his tower the whole time. So it's going to be very hard for both junglers to find options on the map.
So what you're saying is we're going to be an LCK game in a way.
Well, because this is RNG and just overall we are in the LPL, I feel like something will happen that shouldn't.
That's what I want to hear. That's perfect. See, no one wants to hear it's an LCK game. They're not here for LCK. They're here for the LPL, baby. We fight.
But I want to be here for Wadid and Shobra.
Oh, bro. But do you know who you are? You're Lyric. People don't know Lyric because you were called Grey. You were the coach of Flamengo. Dude. That team went to Worlds, and you were there.
But Mata is the coach of RNG.
Yeah, and he also went to Worlds. He was there. He was definitely there in a big way.
I was going to say, I feel like he's done a lot more than been to Worlds.
Yeah, but if you compare yourself with Mata, it doesn't matter if you're with Deed. You're not gonna compare, right?
It doesn't matter. I like it.
I didn't mean to do that, but You're still a big deal, Lyric. It's my honor to have you here. I'm nothing but a worthless gold elo player.
So as we kind of just jump back in the game,
Yeah,
and
take me, please.
We've already talked about that the win condition is similar in the fact that it's scale for both teams. I would say that EDG's comp comes online a bit faster with champions like the Mordekaiser and the Varus. So these like 1 to 2 item team fights should be in their favor. But if this game can get drawn out even further, 3, 4 items, this Kassadin's going to be a menace on the backline.
Again, we said in champions like what we've seen out of the Kassadin so far in the LPL. They've been pretty insane. The top ones, Angel and Doinby, because we have had people like Shie earlier in the Dominant series pick it up. It has been really common in the mid lane, which is kind of fun to see.
It just thrives in these chaotic skirmishes.
Yeah.
And chaotic skirmish is the name of the game in the LPL.
And if people make mistakes, if you're the more confident team, Kassadin's always going to work out. Because you know that once you have those 1-2 items, you're pretty much set here to build yourself into that mid-late game we're talking about.
It's just so nice to just being so versatile and so easy to get on the backline of an enemy team comp.
Yeah.
Of course, Betty will still be able to deal damage out with the Senna and a big front line in Longxing.
Ooh, we got a 3v3 though. Are you ready? Because Shallenbao doesn't get the flag and dragon. He's dead. Simple as that. You make the mistake. Hope gives you the thumbs up.
Not quite sure what Xiaolongbao was looking for there, but great pick coming out from EDG translates into this Dragon. And we already did talk about that their comp will come online faster than RNG's.
And now with a kill over to the core member in Hope. You were talking about those key items coming through a little bit sooner. Means EDG will be better. Well, Hope's got the first blood gold. He's now also got a mountain on the side of EDG. That extra bit of gold. Look at this back that's coming through with a Cutlass first picked up.
He has a Cutlass. Of course, Betty has a serrated Dirk, so both of them hitting similar pain points. Zhao Hu, though, having that Catalyst, so he is, again, playing more for the late game. Of course, that's what we know Kassadin for. Of course, though, we've seen an LPL. Ooh, but Longxing doesn't care about the LPL.
Hey, he has ultimate and flash. Call the Fort God, peekaboo. You know I'm here now. But doesn't commit, of course.
I just want to say, I don't think Flash Ultimate is an Ord combo.
No, I didn't mean to say it like that. I know it's... Look, I do play Ord. We'll have a look at this one again, because, yeah, the flag too far out of range. I mean, Shallenbao's just stuck there.
And EDG seemed to know that he was here. Junja just coming over the wall very nicely. Did look like they had a ward in the pit that spotted him out.
Ooh, but we got a 2v2, 3v1 rather, through the mid lane. Scout flashes away. That was a good escape, though. Could have been so much worse. That
was great good from Xiaolongbao to make Scout blow his flash, which, again, is an important defensive option when RNG can look for plays like this.
When Xiaolongbao before got caught out, so that's a positivity for... That's positive for the map of RNG. Now posturing around the Rift Herald. Junja has moved his way here as well. Both junglers level 6.
An important thing to keep our eyes on are those ultimates on the side of RNG, but...
Everyone's coming.
Yeah.
This is a party. All 10 members are coming up to this play.
Question for RNG is, can they get on the backline? It's same situation as game 1, but this time you also have a Braum, making it even harder to do so for RNG.
But Mako does not have a level 6. Ming doesn't either. Betty at 5 versus Hope 6. So key levels at this point, it feels like. Scout has the shove in mid, as the Azir. Hope and Mako move back up towards that objective. Things are going down. They're trying to bait. Uh-oh. Watch out. EDG are coming through, but RNG with a good ward down spots them out. 5 members still towards this top side. We've been A-ramming for EDG for a while.
EDG's comp just feels like it's ahead at this point in the game. We talked about RNG's. Just doesn't look like it has any damage. If Audi... Ooh.
Flash dredge line, that's it. The ultimate, they shuffle back. On top goes RNG, but Hope gets the lockdown as Betty secures the kill. It's the turnaround as the ARAM continues here. Xiaohu ulted, and he's gonna die. EDG have now picked up 2 kills this game. Onto Betty, the dredge line doesn't connect. RNG's AD carry is gonna die as Audi in the back line. They're decimating RNG. EDG belong in the mid lane.
EDG's composition comes out strong this time around. RNG were the ones who engaged on that play. EDG just turning it around beautifully, and once again, we see great play coming out of Junja, as well as Hope and Mako to turn that around.
And off the back of that, the Rift Herald is theirs. They deserve it. It was a great start to the game, and to answer your question again, this is definitely not like the LCK. Longxing trying to force out Junja, and they'll stop the Rift Herald. They're going to start it back up. Even without a smite, look, This game's already whack.
This is why typically after a fight you would have seen EDG get those resets, come back with an item advantage in full HP bars. They choose not to reset. The dead members from RNG come back with full HP, and they're the ones who are able to get the Rift Herald.
Okay, so that's a worthy trade, I guess, after all things went wrong.
And we see RNG right now blow everything to get on top of Scout. At first looked pretty promising as he didn't have the flash, but we talked about that after this, RNG's comp just has no damage. We see the Vars consistently putting down these autos. Junja, of course, is Rek'Sai, very strong jungler in the early game. And we talked about Audi has the Haunting guys, just does so much damage in these early fights as compared to something like an Ornn.
Oh, God. I don't even know how to keep up with these fights. But in the aftermath, I look across the board and I see Junja with now 2 kills and Warriors.
And you see Hope finishing Blade of the Rune King.
That early on, yeah. Big moments here. Rod of Ages also complete for Xiaohu. On that note, the Abyssal / Majoras here for Longxing in the top lane. And also for Audi, pretty close to getting Liandry's after picking up a kill, pulling Xiaolongbao into the death row on that fight.
And we do have Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. You would think that EDG are the ones who should have priority to force this objective, but we see RNG being the ones to come through bot lane and try to secure vision.
I'm curious as to what Xiaolongbao does with this Rift Herald to maybe set up for the Dragon.
But look, RNG sitting in a ward, but confusing that Junja actually chose to use that sweeping plan because they could have
there.
Yeah.
You see them, it's not going to make a difference.
I understand you're trying to clear out vision, but maybe you could have tried to bait that move.
Chains of Corruption here. Brom's going to put the wall up as here comes the Ornn ulti. A double knock-up, a bouncy castle here for Junja as the bottom lane joins in the fun as well. But now for RNG, they want to leave. Hope's turning this around. There's the concussive blows. Hope gets the autos and Blade of the Ruined King comes true as 5 people all in one lane again for EDG.
EDG just getting the numbers advantage with their members rotating first. I don't know how many more times we need to say that EDG's champions are ahead right now, but this is what we talked about with RNG drafting a comp like this, that RNG are the kind of team that's going to keep butting heads with you no matter what. Doesn't matter what their power spikes are, where their champions are, or what the situation is. RNG this split are known to just go in.
And it's not working out for them in this game. They're behind 2,400 gold. It's a Cloud Rift. Sorry, Cloud Dragon. It's an Infernal Rift in this game. And Scout returns the lane to get more gold. This is EDG's game right now. It's looking pretty good.
Looking great for EDG, but this is another reason why we've not seen RNG tend to go towards this fasting center bot lane, typically going for a stronger bully laning AD carry like Misfortune, so they can opt for these earlier fights. But still, they do have this Herald, are going to try and get some gold on their Kassadin and accelerate him to that hyper carry state.
Bit more gold. The third bit of turret plating there will not go down, and Audi kills it in the end. Xiaohu's still stacking up that Rod of Ages, so you can see that for RNG, they're like, okay, all things considered, if we want to keep butting heads, let's make sure at least Kassadin gets a bit more. Xiaohu in a position, not a commanding position, but in a position to start this game off.
At least their priorities are straight with who the gold needs to go on to. Again, it shouldn't be that hard to figure out when you do draft Senna in the bot lane and have Ornn on top side. There's really only one option left.
Yeah, when you set a Senna Nort, and you're like, a tank in the top lane, where do we put our gold?
I mean, if this was IG, maybe it could have been towards the Ornn. But
yeah, look, I put the shine on Ornn. That would have been a very different story. If you haven't watched IG Inserting yesterday, Lyric and I had a ball with that series. But, I mean, this one as well. I have to say, EDG and RNG is living up to the hype in a very unusual way. We are in a bit of a tempo play here from both teams where they are trying to push these objectives. Top turret here from Audi. Not going to get that extra bit of plating as plating does go down. But both teams just kind of push out their advantages.
And we see Junja already heading up here.
This is a Death Realm play, though. Audi's level 11. A bit of damage coming through. Junja now comes out, as Xiaohu does as well. Mako moving up. EDG, I said tempo before. They're bringing it to top side.
EDG had push in the mid lane because they did have 4 members there. Junja was helping them push as compared to Xiaolongbao, who is farming in his jungle. Are going to be able to take this turret, but of course, EDG don't have any members on the other side of the map, so it should just end up being a 1-for-1.
Here goes Longxing very fast, as Ornns do. Oh, let's go. Xiaolongbao going to help him out as well. But meanwhile, mid is still 2v2. Teleport being committed. And Junja spotted out going over. I'm not even going to commentate. That was just stupid.
Yeah, that's a good word to describe.
I'm sorry, I can be a nice guy, but sometimes, honestly, what the heck was that?
That was just that was just Junja making a very obvious mistake that we can all see. Scout TPing in the bot lane, of course, holding that turret for one more wave, but with Junja going down, does just look like Scout's not going to risk the chance of a dive coming through, and it does end up being a trade like we expected.
Yeah, in more ways than one. Oh, it's good having a coach next to me as well, because, you know, if I ever say something too cruel, or if I say something that, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say, you make sure you pick me up on it, right? Because you can see many different angles. That's what's great about Colorcast, right? You guys can see many different angles.
I only see one angle this game,
on
and
that one. Yeah.
It's that was not the right choice.
That was definitely not the right choice, especially with EDG's lead and the fact that that was a big shutdown that you just gave over to Betty as well. Remember that Junja in the earlier trades picked up these kills. He got early warriors. This was a very fed Rek'Sai and still is. But now there's a bit more gold on RNG. They're only behind 2,000. Xiaohu, this is a Kassadin who needs to start leapfrogging out of here. Okay, first frog. There it is. Junja says no. Second frog, shoved back. The third one doesn't exist. That's an easy kill going over to Scout. So more gold in the back pocket of EDG. A good roam up towards his top side when Herald's right there.
Great use of priority in the mid lane from EDG. We've seen Xiaolongbao constantly hover around the bot side with this Ornn when...
Oh, what the? Flash Death's Grass into the nether.
He's dead.
Hope's going to be coming through here, and I think you're right. Here we go. Passive going to be procced. Xiaolongbao with the Cataclysm and misses the flag and drag again.
It just seems like RNG are like crippling to the pressure. They're just falling down. They don't know what to do.
Directionless, even after knowing that Xiaohu is a condition this game. Other parts of the map are really falling apart this game. And each time this happens, EDG keep getting these fed members even more. And you're looking at Hope with the focus this game. That's because Hope has 3 kills. Hope is quite large. And EDG like it when this virus is big.
And let's remember that RNG opted into this. RNG picked the Kassadin into the Azir. They knew what they were getting into. They had other options. We talked about the Sylas. They have the Corki. They have so many other things that could have contested earlier in this game.
What a great transition to talk about RNG's drafts this series, where from game 1 it was so different. Like you said, or one of us said this, where the change in draft where there's different members on the team, it seems like RNG itself have been making some interesting choices in comparison to EDG, who have been really straightforward with their drafts this series.
We've seen EDG just consistently, again, we talked about small effective champion pools, picking what's work, picking comps where the champions have similar goals, which nets them this mid lane turret. By the side of RNG, we saw, like, especially with Game 1, drafting all these champions that really wanted to do different things. We've seen that consistently over the previous weeks with RNG's drafts. Really odd champions. Game 1, Diana GP with Elise Pantheon.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that those things really go together.
I mean, even in the last game, there were signs of weakness through RNG not being able to fully commit. Hang on, pause. If it's going to be taken down, I think, yeah, Xiaolongbao wanted to seal it. I'm not sure what more you say. Third Dragon goes over. And XLB 05.
RNG, just one of our teams in the LPL that really does not know how to play from behind. It is a hard skill to get to, especially when you have players like this. You don't typically tend to fall behind, but when you do draft like this, you are going to be playing on the back foot.
I remember there was a time when I think FPX and at least Spring, there were times when they'd fall behind and it looked like they didn't know how to control their game from a deficit. Now, these are very different elements, very different teams.
We see Xiaolongbao especially, 0-5-1 on the Jarvan, really not knowing how to play this game.
And this time around for RNG, 3,000 gold behind, it does feel like a lot more. But when we talk so much about RNG being in the position for this late game, getting Xiaohu those core items versus EDG getting core items early, well, the conditions set out. Look at the virus, almost towards the Guinsoo's. And you've also got Scout, who's very, very close to the Liandrys. So
gonna have a lot of consistent damage coming out of that Madness passive. This is also why we've seen LPL teams tend to get away from scaling, and we see like champions like Renekton and Elise have such high priority here because we already see EDG's already on Soul Point. If you're RNG, you can't avoid that fight. There's just so many more objectives that this year that you just can't choose to, hey, I'm going to back off, I'm going to keep scaling. That's not an option anymore.
No. Infernal Soul given over to this team too as well. I know I've been saying that a lot this series, but just Just the ability for Varus to get that first hit in and then follow it up with the burn damage is insane. So I want people to take note, 3 minutes in the top left-hand side of your screen. That's when we look at EDG to be forcing this issue. But right now, forcing the bottom lane turret here with Lungxing defending. Now RNG haven't showed on the map, so EDG just backing away.
EDG just completely in control of the map right now. We do see Hope and Audi coming off of a reset. So they're going to be able to start establishing control pretty much wherever they want, honestly. They've control everywhere on the map. They've all pushing lanes. The next objective to look for is still that Fire Drake. I don't expect EDG to look for a Baron, but you do have things like Azir and Varus, which means you have really good potential of burning down a Baron unexpectedly.
Remember what we saw last game, where, or at least game 1, where Junja and Scout would just do it by themselves. What we've seen in the LPL a lot is these sneaky Barons with the Azir and jungler / support, or the tankiest member, just whittling that one away while the rest of the team shows mid or top.
And he did finally pick up that Leandri, so he's going to be doing a lot more damage in these fights. But sneaky Barons, a staple of the LPL.
Did you also see just before the Colonel came up, and he's very in favor of EDG once again. As we saw at the start of the game, Colonel had that red bar going all the way through. So this man confident about 2 things in life. And one of them is League of Legends, apparently.
And it feels like, especially Varus in the LPL, just kind of going up to Colonel point, because Colonel's saying EDG, I feel like Varus in the LPL just tends to work a lot better. Yeah. And seeing that statistic from Colonel makes you want to look into these Varus statistics and see what is the win rate in LPL, because it has just looked so strong.
It's kind of like I guess the skirmishing AD carry, right? Like, how do you put it? As its efficiency in LPL versus regions like LEC, LCK, because we've had a really high priority on it. And not that other regions haven't, we've just really raised it above a level.
It's just very versatile. So we saw MF priority in the early weeks switch over to this Varus. Varus at level 6 has kill pressure in the lane against Misfortune. Your early laning phase is not bad. You have a lot of options in what builds you can go with the lethality, with the on-hit lethal tempo. You scale well with the passive damage from your W. So you're just a champion that pretty much gives your team a lot more options to play with, mixed damage as well.
True. There's
just so many good things to talk about with Varus.
And so far, best Varus, I think in the LPL, like even week 1, the first person to prioritize was Puff from IG. You know, one of the best bottom laners, or I should say best bottom lane duos in Puff and Southwind at the moment.
And now Hope is really putting his name into that hat, saying, hey, no, I'm an amazing Varus in the LPL. And he's looked good all 3 games.
Remember that Hope was always on this EDG Young team, and iBoy was really the one stopping him. Now, we got the EDG versus Vici series. I think I need to pause here, though, Lyric, because Dragon's coming up. We'll talk about that another day. You said RNG don't want to let this one go.
RNG just don't have any choice, but I don't see any avenue RNG have into this team fight.
But look at the scout poke. Ming doesn't get the binding. Instead, Chains of Corruption comes through. This is the fight here for RNG to find it, but blocked away by Mako is Lungxing's ulti. All 5 members here. They send the bottom lane of EDG to clear out mid. Well, Junja gets a bit more vision. RNG back on in. Lungxing face checking.
All of our eyes need to be on Xiaohu. He's really the only one who can make something happen right now if he can get on top of Hope or Scout. But with all summoner spells up, it's looking really grim for the side of RNG.
And taking damage from the Dragon as well. Xiaohu grouping up with the rest of the team. Lungxing says, here, take this for your travels. And now it begins.
Again, keep your eyes on Xiaohu.
Oh, that's the ultimate though. Scout gets the ulti straight away. Mako launches down his as well. You said keep an eye on Xiaohu. He's not in the fight yet. Comes in for the flank. On top of 3. Golden is he. Here is the Dragon. Hasn't been focused. Instead, they get Xiaohu. Scout flushes away just in time. While Audi is busy dealing with the bottom lane. Infernal secured for RNG. While 3 members die with glee.
Both teams kind of getting what they want in that fight. RNG picking up the Dragon is very important since EDG aren't on Soul by some more time, but EDG being the ones to come out ahead in the fight, taking down 4 members of RNG, and now being able to contest this Baron with TPs coming out from both their solo laners.
They're heavily low. Scout, Audi, here we go. 4 people in front of Baron. Mako needs to back away. But this goes down so damn quick.
RNG have no options to contest. We said in that last fight, Xiaohu was the member to watch. Xiaohu is dead right now, so of course cannot come get on the members of EDG. And again, there's takeaways for both teams, but obviously don't need to say it. EDG coming out way ahead with that Baron. And we look once again like game one. RNG don't have wave clear on this team.
Yeah. Take me through this, though, because the fight looked pretty risky.
Ming goes in, but Scout was such a good ultimate keeping them away, and everything was up to Xiaohu on the back of this. We just see Scout and Hope being able to deal so much free damage. Xiaohu tries to go in, has to Zhonya's right away, and then has to get out. And we see Audi right now zoning off all the threats for RNG, and if Scout and Hope get to deal damage for free, they will always win.
Audi's been really consistent on this Mordecai. It's a great time to bring it up because in that fight, you said zoning away. I mean, 3 people stuck at the whims here of this Mordekaiser until the Death Realm takes Shalom Bao out of practice. And EDG with another team fight win and a 6K gold lead here in Game 3. The unexpected is becoming reality. As our 2 highlights on the side of the screen, it's the bottom lane of EDG once again.
Mako really showing up in a series we didn't expect him to, but again, the legacy matchup coming out here, and he's performing amazingly. Hope right there, 81% kill participation, almost 30% of his team's damage on this Varus. Just EDG working like a well-oiled machine.
Mako went past bomb status, 3 assists to go, 0010 here, alongside Hope, maybe even better than Daniel Craig, who knows, but talked about the big Varus, a wit's end coming third. And against the AP damage, the biggest part of damage against RNG.
Really the only damage, if you look at it.
Things are getting sketchy here and have been for a little while for RNG. They're facing elimination against EDG in a term of, I guess, elimination for the year. Because the series win, the head-to-head count will be massively in EDG's favor.
I was going to say, something we haven't talked about once is do RNG have to start worrying about a playoffs position? If they lose this series, they're sitting at 4-4. Coming into the series, they were sitting at 9th.
Because EDG had the individual game advantage, that's right. So RNG will be looking down the barrel of a 10th, 11th place position. We'll have a look at the standings at the end of our week here after this series. But if RNG lose this series, worrisome. Very worrisome.
Not something you expected to say with the talent on this roster.
It's 27 minutes, and before we start looking at the implications, we have to see what happens with this third game. Big gold lead here for EDG, but remember Xiaohu's still picking up his items. Seeker's Armor Guard in the inventory, almost as Sonya's Hourglass, with the Adaptive Helm now picked up for Lung Xing. So core frontline items with the big damage threat getting there alongside him. We'll see what RNG do now, because Baron's in hand for another second, and EDG didn't really use it coming through.
RNG just taking it slowly, waiting for this Infernal Drake. Build's pretty standard. The only kind of different things we see are the Wit's End, which we already spoke about, and Scout picking up an early Void Staff with all the MR RNG are stacking. So going into these fights, EDG comfortably ahead, but you just said it's only 27 minutes. Feels like we're 45 minutes into this game.
Isn't that just the way it's developed? Also, putting an extra 40 gold back on turret plates feels like it's really advanced.
We've talked about it on this broadcast many times that the mid game feels much shorter this year with all the gold they just overloaded into this game.
And it means carries like the Azir, these carries that you expect need 30, 35 minutes. Get online sooner than that, and especially in this game when we've been fighting a lot more. Look at him. Scout is a threat. And over the wall, the level 16 Azir continues to zone them out. They're trying to stop this second chance at an Infernal Soul for EDG.
EDG just using their pressure beautifully, trying to keep RNG under turret. We saw Audi hovering around the jungle, trying to stop Xiaohu from making the roam. And here we are, EDG are going to get first turn. They're going to control all the vision, and RNG are going to have to come in blind.
The Sun Turret is so annoying to deal with. Audi, however, has found Lung Xing, uses the W preemptively. Audi has himself the Death Realm, but doesn't use it. Lung Xing takes the damage, even 2 levels down on Audi, and Dragon is now live.
As we said it before at the last fight, the big member to look at is Xiaohu on the side of this team. Let's also keep track of Audi and how he zones them out with things like the Death Realm.
Did it before on Shalom Bao into the back. It's not stolen. Infernal Rift is secured here. Cataclysm into the back line. And you're looking at Xiaohu. He's onto Junja, but zoned away by Mako. Scout has to get out as well. RNG have somehow won the fight while Audi is separated. They return onto Xiaohu as Audi gets the kill. Junja gets collapsed upon as he follows the mid laner. And EDG, even though they've won the fight, for RNG, they put up one hell of a contest.
RNG put all their eggs in the Xiaohu basket and it just didn't pan out. We once again see another beautiful team fight coming out from Scout, and Hope flashing forward so aggressively, just looking to really cement this win.
And Ming on the run here at the end of it as well. Audi is closing in. Scout was leaving it for a while. He's a little bit worried, but I think he should be fine. With the Infernal Rift, the explosive damage, Ming's dead as well.
Beautiful kiting coming out from Scout. Audi just there for the emotional support like his bro should be. And here we go. EDG are in a fantastic position to start a siege on this base, or even just force a fight at Baron.
Well, with the Infernal Soul, we can do that. Now take me through it again, because this one, you said Hope.
We said we had to keep our eyes on Xiaohu. Xiaohu not able to get in. RNG already blowing everything with Hope getting a good stopwatch.
Yeah.
And here we see Hope go forward so aggressively, pretty much taking Xiaohu out of the fight. And we look at Audi zoning off Betty on the back end. And look at all these autos that Hope is being able to dish out, as well as Scout on the edge of that. And Mako just walking forward so aggressively. Just everything really coming together for the side of EDG.
Because I saw Mako. I didn't see Hope flash that aggressively. Good to see the confidence here out of the AD carriers. EDG off the back of the Infernal Soul, off the back of that fight. Push mid, get the inner. Baron up again.
Xiaohu finally starting to get some items coming in, hitting that 3-item point, but we really want to see him get something like a Void Staff or a Death Cap for him to really deal damage in these team fights.
Lupino picked up.
And we see now, look at Audi's inventory. Picking up the Spectral Cowl, they know Xiaohu is really the only big threat on this team.
Back here to game one, right, where we saw Audi come through with the Dead Man's Plate, the I can't remember what the Spectre's Cowl made in the end, but it was the tankier version of Mordekaiser. That, you know, we saw a lot earlier in this game. Now, as you mentioned in that previous game,
we talked about how they're so flexible with how they play the game, how they draft their their itemization coming into these games. And RNG just, again, tunneled on this one style all 3 games, and we saw it punished almost 3 times in a row, honestly. That game 2 was really close.
Essentially, right? And we come towards the end of it where RNG, it seems like they're being outclassed in a way as well from EDG. 4-14, still that 7K gold lead. And around Baron, EDG have taken all the vision out, bar one in the pit. That is right in front of it, actually, for now. And channeling up the mid lane, they want control before they attempt this objective. RNG still being competitive, but for how long?
Right now, we want to see EDG take it patiently, which is what we know EDG for. Back off onto this Baron and bring RNG into you. You don't need to look for the desperate plays that we saw RNG looking for last game. Take it slow, start the Baron. You have members like Mako and Audi to zone off Xiaolongbao and just look for the engage.
You've been talking about Xiaohu. If EDG continue this path, look at the Kassadin. Doesn't have much mana, but does have his upgraded Zonya's Hourglass. And Sun Turret is going to go down here. EDG want to fight around it. Chain Disruption misses. Key ultimate here for the AD carry.
We just have seen many times in the series teams really trying to end games too quickly when they can take it slower, play more around neutral objectives. But EDG are still going. They still want to find a pick on RNG.
I think now they think better. Pings are going down. Guys, Mr. Baron, let's refocus, and refocus they do. Xiaohu, by the way, has teleport if he wants to rejoin. RNG almost walked lovingly into the arms of EDG, who are waiting in the river.
Xiaohu just going to get more gold on him, set up this spot lane split push. But EDG on the bear now, like we've talked about.
The 2-man, it does it pretty damn quick with the Infernal Soul. RNG walking towards it. Can Xiaolongbao get the steal? Mako to zone him out, slow him down. 3K, call the Forge God coming through. But look at the pit. All I care about is what happens here. The Baron reset as the fight starts off. Mako going to be the first one to fall. It's Xiaohu now who's running right in, but taken into the Death Realm. He's been taken out of the play, and Audi's going to be left on his lone. EDG's top laner into 5 people. RNG get 2 in front of Baron. This was EDG's game, but maybe that changes from here.
EDG making the right play, but executing it so poorly. We talked about how we want to see them bait the Baron and then turn a fight onto RNG's side. Another option they could have looked at was we saw Xiaolongbao posturing so aggressively, just have Audi send him to the Death Realm and secure that Baron as Junjan Scout.
And this is now a big danger for EDG. Control's going to be given over if they give this Baron. Junja needs a steal.
But we see the damage that Scout can put over from
Flash
this wall.
over and everyone comes over as well. Xiaohu, everyone is here. They pounce immediately. Xiaohu getting burst out by Hope. Can he get the turnaround? But he doesn't need to. He's done enough. EDG lose 2 more.
And this game is extended even longer. We see RNG getting what they want, making this game just continuously spin on, but I don't know if that favors them as much as we thought with the MR items all coming out for EDG.
Quintuple flash from RNG in that fight. They all went over the wall. Now, we talked about them being decisive and sometimes looking miscoordinated. That was the one moment, I think, where everyone was in unison.
Everyone in unison with the engages on the side of RNG. We even saw that in the last game, in Game 2. It is just a lot of these early game decisions where we see them struggle, but we're coming up with Betty becoming pretty big on this set. 132 souls, sitting right now at 4 completed items.
Where if you look at Senna with the souls, infinite scaling, right? She's always going to get more range, always going to get more of that damage. And Betty right now, level 14 to Hope 16, but that's starting to matter less and less. Elder Dragon here. We begin again.
RNG are the ones starting this up, and once again, we keep our eyes on Xiaohu. This time there are a lot of summoners burnt for EDG. No flash for Scout or Hope is something to pay attention to, but Audi does have flash and he does have the death realm. He can take anyone out from the side of RNG.
But I'm worried because RNG, their ability to pounce is there. Teleport getting channeled in here from Audi. The level 18 Mordekaiser has been key. Dragon not being fully committed to until now. Damage starting to come down, and look at this, using the Mist well. Xiaohu on the back of the pit. Dragon resets. And we begin again. 6,000 health. EDG in front. 5,000, 4,000. Junja, the ult's going down. He's deleted. Jungler from EDG is dead. Call the Forge God now to re-engage. Well, look, Xiaohu incoming! It's the Castellan on top of them. Hope is trying to carry this one, though. Can he turn it around for EDG? Ming trying to stop him, but he's free hitting. Look at Hope. Look at Hope. Look at Hope. He gets him. Xiaohu goes down into GA. Audi lives as well. The death grab, the fight forward. It's Hope and Audi. He's hitting the Orn so damn hard. EDG win the fight, and Hope, welcome to the LPL.
This was the Game 3 we were looking for. Xiaohu looked so big in that fight, but Hope kiting out so well, pretty much taking down those last 2 members by himself as Audi zoned for him. Now they're going to be able to secure this Elder, and it should be a pretty clean end for EDG with the execute.
Clean end? I don't know.
Whoa,
because that went on for a while.
We didn't say that was a clean fight. We said with the execute, they should be able to take this game home.
I trust you, but this is Hope's legacy starting right here.
We see Xiaohu trying to jump into the backline, but really clutch Empress Divide from Scout, keeping the members off Hope. And just look how well he's doing with the Varus passive and all that attack speed, weaving in and out of the brush where RNG didn't have vision, just continuously outputting damage. And Audi also a huge member right now, zoning both members from RNG. Really clutch flash coming in from Audi, and the Orn just doesn't have the damage to take Hope down.
Hope's weaving a piercing arrow into that auto on Xiaohu made the game.
And now here's where we say EDG should be able to close out this game clean from here on out. They have Infernal Soul, they have the execute from Elder, and now they have the Baron.
On top of that, if RNG find anything here, that would be absolutely bonkers. So EDG now with control. Let's be realistic, running down the mid lane. Baron minions at the ready and wave slowly approaching.
The important thing to note is that Hope doesn't have flash this time, so it will be much harder for him to play this fight. But,
or GA.
Or GA, but Audi does have Death Realm. I would like to see him take the Castle, take Xiaohu out of this fight and just let Hope and Scout deal with the rest of the members of RNG.
Turret set up here. EDG, 5 members in front of it. Langxing has Call of the Forge God ready and available. This game has been the epitome of my LPL night so far. Let's see if it delivers even more. Betty to zone out the minion, I guess. EDG wait for the next wave to come through. Audi not going to back away, of course not. They go again. Elder, 35 seconds left. Baron with 2 minutes.
EDG do have a lot of scaling in their composition with this year, with the Varus. They are going to be able to take this inhibitor, and it's about whether they want to push her more or if they want to turn to other lanes.
Well, Hope's already kicked ass. He wants to take more names on his list. And EDG are backing away. The Elder Dragon not used here yet, but they're trying to get, but look at that ward. Spotted out on a ward, play ended. 10 seconds, Elder's not going to be used.
EDG not finding an opportunity to use the Elder buff. RNG being so patient. They've already been very patient this game as a whole, and they say, hey, we've waited 40 minutes. We can wait longer. We're going to wait for this to expire, and Xiaohu's going to get more chances to get on that backline. We already see he's only one item away from being full build. We do expect to see something like that death cap coming out and just putting him so far ahead in terms of damage.
And putting him at the point where he does kill Hope without the GA, where Hope is going to die. I mean, I'm looking optimistically here.
Hope does have a lot of magic resist coming out in his build, as well as the flash is back up and the heal is there.
One fight, Baron buff 45 seconds. RNG on the cusp of losing to EDG yet again. History favors EDG in this matchup. And EDG looking to scale up the rankings here in the LPL 2020 Spring. Underneath turret, pressuring away RNG. EDG is a 5-man unit. They're going to get the inhibitor for free. And we've got a wave crashing in. Chains of Corruption lands, but Lungxin gets rid of it. He moves away. Ultimate from Hope again.
Right now, we do see EDG trying to posture for this end, but RNG just aren't going to give them any opportunities. It does look like we might just end up going to another Elder Drake fight.
And again, if we do that, it's going to be explosive. Baron has expired. Oh, we're doing it again. 41 minutes in. We're doing it again. Yeah, look at gold. It's starting not to matter anymore. EDG have a 10k gold lead. It's the difference between the final item and getting towards it.
We do see Xiaohu right now sitting at that 17k above Scout actually on the opposite end, but of course the person with the most gold in the game is Hope's Varus. He has been sitting at full build for a while. And we already saw in that last team fight, execution is the name of the game at this point. Both teams have tools to win. Can Xiaohu get on that backline?
Watch Xiaohu, that's what I'm getting, and now we're watching Hope and also Scout. Even though Audi's been really influential, people that make it are Hope and Scout. Scout also with a stopwatch in inventory for the potential last fight. Elder up in 1:15.
And we are at the point now where, again, Ornn is so big. We've already seen, even with Infernal Soul, EDG's composition is having a hard time dealing damage to him. Senna, of course, scaling up with all those souls is a threat at this point, and it will come down to who does Audi use that Death Realm on. Are Hope and Scout able to deal damage freely? How does Mako use the Unbreakable? There's so many questions going into this next fight.
Ooh, so many questions. You're going to get answered in a second. 45 seconds reset here from RNG.
Nothing's happening, and I'm already so excited.
I know, because Hope in the last fight put us to the 10, and then we have to reset and look forward to another one.
I don't know how to reset. I feel like it's just about to burst at any moment.
You're telling me. Rabadon's death cap, by the way, on Xiaohu. Now, he's already got the all-upgraded item on the Zhonya's Hourglass, so not much he can do.
884 AP. 884.
That's a Veigar. Essentially, that's a Veigar. He's also got the Sorcery Potion activated here. 400 CS as well, by the way. Does EDG want to push the mid lane instead and get RNG away from this dragon? Sun turret goes up. This is what happened last time. Get ready, guys. We're doing it again.
This time, though, EDG do have the super minions to rely on to put some pressure on RNG if they want to take this a bit slower.
Red buff went over to who? Went over to the Jarvan. No, went over to Betty.
Did go over to Betty.
Not starting it just yet.
We talked about EDG, take it slow, let your bot lane super minions push out, but RNG are taking it
Yeah,
slow.
Chunja poked out a little bit as well. That's a power of Xiaohu right now, but Scout does the same thing. Onto XLB as the engage comes through in a choke. Scout gets the ulti back. The Call of Forge God misses here as well, but it's EDG who've been caught out the flash away as XLB has to do the same. Xiaohu was looking for a flank and Hope is pushing forward. That's it for now, but Junja is looking for more.
RNG forcing out so many key flashes, but
Ultimate comes through. That's defensively as well. Look at Xiao, he wants to jump in while the minions are coming through. TP play, TP play. Look at the bottom of your screen. We're going for a backdoor. It's TP for TP. Xiao, who's going to match this one? On top of Scout, he gets him. But Audi's here too. On the Nexus, in the Death Realm. Can he get it? On top of Xiao, who is trying to kill this top laner. And he does. Saves the game. And now 4 core members are dead from EDG. RNG have the map.
What is going on? Xiaohu coming up big with his own TP to match. Just completely explodes Scout in that fight. He's so big at this point, easily taking down Audi in that 1v1. And now RNG coming out on top, looking like the favorites to take this game.
Because they're going to get the Elder Dragon here. And they have everyone alive. Baron is next. And look at the death timers at this point in game. RNG are going to do exactly what EDG did 10 minutes ago.
And we're at a point where Xiaohu's just so able to easily put up consistent damage with this Rift Walk coming out from the cast. And we even saw Betty poking out Audi in an earlier exchange, being really big on the Senna at this point. And again, RNG have nowhere to go but up. EDG were so far ahead in the early game. RNG aren't supposed to be here, but RNG are making it happen.
Again. And Xiaohu teleporting back kills 2 birds, literally, with 1 Kassadin. Audi died, Scout died, and in the other trade, Mako and Junja joined him. And now, Elder, Baron hasn't been taken, but RNG are heading there.
Another thing to point out is a lot of members of EDG have been full build for a while.
Yeah.
But we're still nowhere close with Xiaolongbao. We're still not there with Longxing. So even scaling-wise, RNG have nowhere to go but up.
And confidence there, they push mid. This should be a free turret. EDG don't care. What they care about is this next fight.
And we have no summoners on the side of Hope or Scout.
Their defense in front of the turret, is this what it takes? Audi gets rooted up. Xiaolongbao looking for a flank, but so is Xiaohu. Xiaohu's Kassadin makes or breaks this fight. Not spotted out just yet until Scout and Junja walk towards. But RNG are just pushing. They're not worried about the objective right now. They know that this Kassadin is the biggest threat. They're using it well.
We just need to keep our eyes on Xiaohu. He's the big Memoid.
I'm so glad I enabled Monka W last year in the chat. This is the perfect time to use it. Xiaohu is ramping up the Rift Walk for the damage. And with that, pressure mid. Inhibitor goes down. RNG aren't stopping. What?
RNG feel comfortable just to continuously force, but they need to be careful. EDG do still have the Infernal Soul.
Betty has the range here. He's hitting the turret. The first Nexus turret goes down. Xiaohu jumps into the side. They're sticking around.
We're seeing that Senna scaling firsthand with that range.
It's outside the turret range just about. Let's look at this. Xiaohu looking for Junja on the side. They're actually going to try and take their last fight right here in the base of EDG. Scout, though, gets the shuffle backward as the lockdown here. EDG underneath their Nexus are dying to RNG into the GA. This time, Hope can't get the play. Oh my lord. A team's going to start banning Kassadin after watching this performance.
It took 50 minutes, but Xiaohu